My name is Lacie. Wait, that was a genuine mistake. My name is Hannah, and this is my beauty budget. I think they stopped. They're pouring concrete outside, and it's just been relentless. Hopefully it won't start up again. Anyway, hi, you guys. I'm so excited for today's video because I am collaborating. This is a collab video with the illustrious Lacie of Spooky Lips and Fat Hips. Her channel is so great. She's one of those creators whose video I will just watch as soon as I get the chance after I see it pop up on my feed. And I have been so lucky as to be able to become friends with her. We've hung out on Google Hangouts. I've been a guest on the podcast that Lacie hosts with Georgia Harris, and she is just so incredibly wonderful. It's been one of the great gifts of developing a YouTube channel that I've been able to connect with Lacie and get to know her a little bit behind the scenes. Lacie is a rare combination. I knew that as soon as I started thinking about her, I was like, but what is she a rare combination of? And I think what it is that she's simultaneously very confident, and that is compelling, attractive, and also educational, and vulnerable. So she's confident, but without having a kind of braggadocio that is in any way false or is something that you could poke a hole into and then it would deflate. She delivers this kind of alluring confidence and clarity about herself, along with a total vulnerability and honesty about herself. And to me, that is so precious. As a YouTube viewer and as a friend, I find that very nourishing, and I'm always nourished by that, by the time that I spend with Lacie, whether I'm chatting with her or watching her channel. I just love how unabashedly herself she is on YouTube. So Lacie, thank you so much for being my friend. Thank you so much for collaborating with me on this video. And if there are any of you lucky bees out there who have not yet experienced the joy of watching one of Lacie's videos for the first time, that is in your near future. And I will leave her linked down below, and I'll leave her video, that's the counterpart to this video, of course, linked down below as well. So what are we doing? We decided to make a video about our favorite luxury products. We both wanted to make a video in which we talked about kind of what luxury really is, and looking at luxury kind of from an alternative direction, through an alternative lens, picking apart a little bit with our choices the concept of luxury and kind of maybe reclaiming the word a little bit. I love this as a collab with Lacie because I feel like both of us tend to be very analytical, self-examining, and super analytical on our channels. So it makes sense to decide to collaborate on a video that deals kind of with the theory of language and the theory of makeup consumption. So without further ado, let us go ahead and get into the meat of that video. Before we start, I just remembered I have yet to show you my new piercings. So it was a week ago this past Thursday, so it was well over a week ago at this point, and I was with my friend Lauren from Lauren May Beauty. We went to a party together in LA, and one of the offerings at the party was basically a master piercer, like this woman who is like a master of the art of piercing, who pierces with a needle rather than a gun, and is just incredibly talented at helping you decide what you want, where you want it, and at doing the deed. So we both did it. We had kind of been talking about it, but then when we were there, we were like, we're doing it. And it was like a semi-spontaneous body modification joint experience with Lauren. It was so amazing. So Lauren got a nose ring, and I got these two. I will come in close so you can see. I couldn't decide between them, and I knew that I kind of eventually wanted both. I was like, if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna kind of go for it, like blinging out my one ear. And so I just did both. These earrings, by the way, that I'm wearing in my regular lobes, although you guys don't know this, but I actually have 4 holes in each lobe. I just haven't been putting earrings in the other 3 holes for years and years and years, but all 8 of them are still open and viable. So maybe Maybe I should like bling out all my ears. Maybe I should go full, how many are there? 10, full 10 hole rings or something one of these days. But anyway, right now these earrings are actually from Ana Luisa Jewelry. I did do a sponsored video with them, but this video obviously isn't sponsored or I would have said something by now. And these earrings actually weren't even given to me as part of the brand deal. These earrings were on my birthday wish list and they were given to me by my parents. I really, really love their elegant asymmetry. So let's talk about luxury. I actually have the word luxury. This immediately sprung to mind when I started thinking about this video. I have the word luxury in the tagline for my little brand. I think most of you already know this, but Joe and I run a very, very tiny Tango clothing company, which is just basically me making clothes by hand. So it's kind of an artisan business. I make one-of-a-kind pieces one at a time, and I'm the only seamstress. It's just me in my little studio sewing every day. And then at the end of the week, we photograph everything I made, and then we sell each piece one at a time online. The brand is called Poema, and the tagline is luxury handmade Tango clothing. So when I sat down to think about what I wanted to say in this video, I was like, wow, why did I choose that word? Like, why do I consider my work to be luxury clothing? And what was I trying to communicate when I branded my business that way? And I realized that I wanted to call attention to the fact that I tend to gravitate towards luxury fabrics. So where other Tango clothing designers use mostly polyester knit and polyester chiffon and polyester satin, I use real silk, a lot of silk charmeuse, real silk chiffon, and I use mostly breathable natural fibers like rayon jersey that's really soft and gooey, and I'll use bamboo fibers when I can get a hold of one that sews up well with my designs. I only choose top quality fabrics. So I have chosen to try to distinguish myself in the world, the pantheon of Tango clothing, by using the word luxury because it calls attention to the fact that the quality of the materials, and to be honest, the cost of the materials, sets me apart from my peers in that realm. We pay for quality. Like when I buy fabrics, I spend way more on fabric than someone who is buying a bunch of polyester fabric to sew Tango clothes, and that translates to the prices of the clothing. So the clothes are a little bit more, and in some cases, depending on the piece, a lot more expensive than what most other Tango clothing vendors sell, but it's because you're buying luxury fabrics. I think that in the beauty realm, luxury tends to mostly mean that it was expensive. The implication in the way that we use it and the way that we kind of use it to define certain brands, the implication is that because it was expensive, it will be quality. And I'm trying, in my brand, I'm trying to like mobilize that definition to indicate that it is quality. But I'm not really sure that it always works that way in makeup. I think a lot of times, really expensive stuff, luxury stuff where you're paying for the name and you might kind of be paying for the packaging, I'm not always sure that it's quality. And I don't think at this point that we can bank on that. So in beauty, the word luxury is kind of a mess. And I'm excited to share with you the things that I picked from my collection, my routine, that I consider to be luxurious and to define luxury. They're literally, to me, my favorite luxury products, but none of them are pieces of luxury makeup. Like I'm not talking about my Givenchy blush in this video, for example, even though I love it. That's not what we're here to do. My first thought was to share the products that I feel like give me a luxury experience and that make me feel my oats. And the first thing that immediately sprung to mind was setting spray. I feel like when I set my face, or even if it's a toner spray or a setting spray, I'm using it to kind of glow up or dampen my face before I go in with product. Whenever I'm using it, a spray. So it's really like any spray, like a face spray. To me, that feels like luxury. And the one that I have now, I have a couple of setting sprays right now that have been sent to me for some reason or another, but the one that I really wanted to kind of focus on is this one from Pixi, because Pixi, while not quite down there with the drugstore brands in terms of price, is far, far from a luxury brand. I mean, we consider it to be kind of a budget option for a lot of nice skincare and makeup. I love this Pixie Glow Mist. I also feel like it's luxurious because it's so big, and that's kind of another thing that sprung to mind. Sometimes when I've got like a big old thing, it feels luxurious. Like I bought the jumbo size. I bought the jumbo size because it is such an amazing value for money. So I love this. It's glowy. I love how you can see the glowiness in it, like the glows and the oils. And I actually didn't set my face today, so I'm gonna use it right now, and not like you haven't seen it before on YouTube, but just revel in the luxuriousness of it all. I think that this fan is part of why using a spray of any kind, especially a setting spray, makes me feel so pampered, pampered by myself, because come on. Fanning oneself with a fan as part of your beauty routine, it does not get more luxurious than that. The other moment in my makeup time that I really feel is the epitome of luxury is whenever I have occasion to do anything with a big fluffy brush. This is the other thing that like came immediately to mind. Like when I think about my favorite luxury products, I think of myself spraying and fanning and powdering myself. But none of that stuff, none of my sprays or fans and none of my big powder brushes are luxury. Like I don't got no Tom Ford powder brush. Like I'm not living that life over here. I have this. This I think is my oldest, this might be my oldest brush. How totally busted is this brush? Have you ever seen anything like it? And it's also super loose. The ferrule is super loose from the wooden handle, and it still performs beautifully. It's been washed a bunch of times. It's kind of getting frayed. This was for a long time because I actually recently acquired a couple of more brushes of a similar size, which means this one might be on its way out because it's just so amazingly destroyed. But this was, until recently, until I acquired the new ones, my most luxurious brush. I had other brushes that are much nicer and in much nicer condition. And to me, this was the one that whenever I got to reach for it for some bronzing or some sort of powdering all over, I was like, yes, yes, I'm a starlet in the 1920s. The next one on my list is the only one that is like an actual specific, I feel like there's a hair in my eye and it's making it hard to talk. I put so much diamond veil on my lids that it's creasing the house down boots. But I'm just gonna pretend I'm Mariah Leonard and get over it. So this is the only product. It's the only actual thing where it's like the product itself rather than like the type of product that I feel like is luxury to me, even though it's not technically a luxury product. We all know the premise of the video, Hannah. You don't have to keep repeating it. This is my Erin's Faces Peptide Sunscreen. And last year I did a search for the best mineral sunscreen. This was the winner. I bought a bottle as my replacement sunscreen during my no-buy year. It's $50, which is a high price for a bottle of stuff. And so it's not like it's an inexpensive product, but it's $50 for 4 ounces. So price per ounce for mineral sunscreen, it's actually a really good price. It's so perfect in terms of formula. It's so cosmetically elegant, but it also just, it's different. It's special. It was formulated with such attention to detail and such love. And I've been connected a little bit with Erin, who is the owner of Erin's Faces. I accepted an affiliate code from them, which I'm really excited about. It's the first one I've ever accepted, and I'm really proud to be an Erin's Faces affiliate. I know her a little bit just from emailing, and she's so genuine and she's so dedicated to what she's doing. And so, but I felt like I feel about this kind of before that even happened. I think it's a combination of the cosmetic elegance, the perfection of the formula, the fact that I searched for it for so long, the fact that I was so excited when I found it, the bottle, which has this like handmade quality, this made with love quality. That's what it is. It's everything about it, from the formula to the brand to the bottle itself with this kind of hand-drawn design. Everything about it feels made with love. And it's like, sometimes we go to a restaurant, this is so funny, this is exactly what it is. Sometimes we go to a restaurant and Joe, who doesn't cook, so I don't know why he's even judging. When we go to a restaurant and he really loves the food, he'll say that he can taste the love. And he has worked in the service industry before, so he's like worked in industrial kitchens. And I think that's where he's coming from when he talks about the food in restaurants, because I think he's worked in kitchens where the food is made with love, and he's worked in kitchens where it isn't. And so he fancies himself as someone who can taste the difference. So sometimes we'll be eating like good food, decent food at a restaurant, or a lot of times it'll be when it's like really fancy food, a lot of pomp and circumstance and expense. And he'll be like, you know, it's good, but there's no love in it. Like, I can't taste the love. And sometimes we'll be eating at relatively modest restaurants and he'll be like, I can really taste the love. And sometimes you can taste the love in a really fancy restaurant, and sometimes there's no love in a grubby little restaurant. You know, it's just like love or no love, irrespective of whether it's a luxury experience or not. And to be able to pick up something with my own hands that has been made so carefully by such loving hands and use it on a daily basis, that's a luxury experience to me. And I think I also identify with that through this brand, because that's the experience I'm trying to provide my customers. I feel like when we are eating out, there's this question like, can you taste the love, or are you just tasting the money? It's like, can you feel the love, or do you just feel the money? And I think that I've tried some luxury products before, even my Givenchy blush, which is like one of my luxury product. Like, this is one of my few luxury makeup products, like not just high end, but actually from a luxury brand. I feel like I can smell the money. And the money also has contributed to it being a very, very high quality formula. But when I use it, it feels luxury to me because it feels expensive. And that is in large part contributing to the pleasure. And then it also performs really well, which is great. But I would so much rather feel the love. And that's what I feel in every drop of this product. And that's why it is in this video instead of this. So the last two things are kind of like self-care rituals, I guess. Although this second to last one is it's like type of product specific. And that is bath salts. Bath salts to me are the perfect example of something that is a luxury, and that is one of my favorite luxuries to bestow upon myself that doesn't have to be expensive. And in fact, the best one, because I like to put a lot into my bath, like I'm not going in with like a quarter cup. What's a quarter cup gonna do for these aching muscles? Nothing. So I'm going in with like 2 cups. I'm like pouring the bag in when I take a bath. So when I buy bath salts, I like to get like the big bag. I like the Dr. Teal's ones. Everyone's always talking about those on YouTube, but there are so many different kinds of bath salts. To me, it's just like, I make sure that it's magnesium. I make sure that it's actually mineral salts. And then I just get the cheapest one in the biggest bag, and I live my best life. And then the last thing I have on this little list is another thing that I often do in the bath, which is double masking. My feelings about face masks have changed. If you have not yet watched my video, How My No by Year Changed My Skincare Routine, I highly recommend that. It's long, it's cray-cray, it's mildly humiliating, but it is one of the most relevant and thought-provoking bits of content I feel like I've ever dropped up here on YouTube. There's a whole section there about masking, because I looked back into my sordid past and I calculated how much my aggressive masking habit was costing me. And it was costing so much compared to the rest of my skincare, and yet I feel like it's kind of the least effective approach, because regular skincare, it's like you're using every day. It's like a kind of continued maintenance, and masking is kind of just like a mask here, a mask there. You put it on, you wash it off. I'm like bashing masking, even though I've picked it as one of my luxury things. I love masking. I love it. I love how I feel after it. I'm not saying that masks do nothing. I'm not saying there are no effective masks out there. I just think that I've learned to prioritize my everyday skincare so much more highly than my treat skincare, which I feel like a mask is. And maybe that's part of why I feel like it's like a luxury thing, because it's something I treat myself with every once in a while. I've learned to prioritize my regular skincare so much more highly because it's what's really making my skin what it is. So even though I'm not really buying masks anymore, I have some lying around. I have some that I still haven't used up since before my no-buy year. And I have one or two, I don't have nearly the number of masks that I used to have, but I have one or two like little free samples that have come, a few that have come in PR. I think I still have that Eve Lom glycolic mask. I'm not really buying masks anymore, but I'm not hurting for masks. When I run out, I wonder what I'll do. I think I might buy some extremely inexpensive K-beauty masks. The Face Shop. Or no, it was the Mizon. There's this Mizon sugar mask. It's like the snail sugar mask that's like 10 bucks that I really, really love. I'll link that down below. That's a great product. All I'm trying to say is that I love layering my masking. And what I'll usually do is I'll get in the bath. I did this last night actually. I'll get in the bath with my bath salts and I'll cleanse my face with an oil, and then I'll use some kind of exfoliating mask. So either something that exfoliates chemically, like I have this little baby deluxe sample size of the Drunk Elephant baby facial, which I used to love, but I'll never purchase again because of the price. I used that for a little while and I felt like I sort of let it eat away at anything dead that was on the surface of my skin. And then I washed that away. And so then I felt like my skin was sort of scrubbed clean of anything that had previously been on the surface. Everything had been kind of eaten away by that peeling mask. Then I'll go in with a really nourishing, hydrating mask. And the one that I used yesterday was the Lacie Moon Mask. I still have one. I had two at the beginning of my no-buy year because I had bought a backup. Fool that I was. It's nice to kind of feel like I've exfoliated all of what was on the surface of my skin away, and then something nourishing and hydrating can really, really sink in and get in and like deeply hydrate what's under there. So I did that, and then I got out of the bath. I rinsed my skin pretty lightly, and so there was still some of that Lacie mask like providing some hydration on there. Then I went in with oils, and then I put a sheet mask on top of that. So I actually triple masked last night. The sheet mask was very inexpensive. It was like a K-beauty product that I got in a pack from Amazon. I think it was one of my Glam Up masks. The Lacie Moon Mask is $22 as well. And so then if you were to use the Mizon mask I'm talking about as your exfoliator rather than the baby facial from Drunk Elephant, all told, those are some pretty drugstore priced products. The Lacie one, you know, is a little bit on the edge. The point I'm trying to make with that is just that triple masking with 3 really reasonably priced masks feels so much more luxurious to me than it would feel to use like a La Mer night cream or something. So those are the 5 things I wanted to talk about. And in conclusion, I think what I've learned from trying to put together this video and what I've sort of learned by dwelling on this topic is that valuing something so much and focusing on it so much and kind of cherishing it so much that it takes on this sheen of luxury, that is something that's in my power to do. It doesn't have to be something that's decided on by the brand or by Sephora or by whoever's marketing the product. It is in my power to experience my drugstore bath salts as a luxury product. And it is in my power to feel my oats when I'm using my Pixie setting spray and just have that be a little moment all my own in which I feel pampered. Thinking back, I think that before my no-buy year, when I was constantly buying new products, the only products that felt luxurious to me were the ones that were new. And that was part of why I kept buying new ones, because I would get a new thing, it would feel like a luxury product, it would have that sheen because it was new, and then after I'd used it for a little while, it would lose that sheen because it wasn't new anymore, and so then I would feel like I didn't have anything luxurious, and then I would go and buy something else new. It was like I was only willing to apply luxury level attention to a thing that I had never used before. And so I was stuck in this cycle wherein newness equaled luxury and luxury equaled newness. I've noticed, and I've said this so many times, that since I've stopped constantly buying new things, first I stopped entirely during my no-buy year, and now I've really, with my budget, really slowed down with how often I'm buying new things. Since I've done that, my appreciation for what I have has increased dramatically. But so that is what I've said before. I talk about that all the time, right? I love my stuff so much more since I'm not constantly getting new stuff. But I think that what I haven't talked about, and what this video is kind of bringing me to talk about, is that my mindfulness and my focus when I'm using the stuff that I have has also increased. And that makes everything, feel luxurious, which honestly, it kind of is. Compared to like the lives of women in the past, like the lives of women in earlier decades, or compared to the lives of people in third world countries, people living under occupation, compared to the lives of women whose liberties are oppressed, compared to so many others, past and present, for me to just be able to have one drugstore lipstick and to be free to wear it, that's a luxury. And the less I buy, the more I feel that. And that is it. That is it for this video about my favorite luxury products. I really hope you enjoyed watching it, and I look forward to chatting with you in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Lacie, thank you so much for collaborating with me. And I hope that all of you, Lacie, and all the rest of you out there are continuing to take extra good care of yourselves so that you can be the most effective version of yourselves as you do your work in the world.